guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an email that was sent from a subscriber. This is from a guy, I'm guessing he's at least mid-40s, late 40s or so. And he shares this story how about 7 or 8 years ago, he kicked to the curb his absolute train wreck harpy of a wife after 3 miserable years of marriage. And ultimately, he comes out pretty well in terms of the divorce settlement and all that because she's just simply a bonehead. However, this is a cautionary tale of what not to do, and we can all learn from this. Things like, you don't rush into a marriage. Certainly not less than a year after you getting to know her. You don't ignore red flags. You see what her family's like. If they're a bunch of wackos, you don't get involved with her or stay with her. And of course, if you marry her, thinking that everything's okay, and she starts turning into a freaking she-devil, handle things accordingly. It's not going to work. It's very important here. But before I do, real quick, I got a shorter email. This is from a viewer. He's 63 years old. Recently, he lost his wife to an illness. He had a good marriage. And he's getting back into the swing of things in terms of just having a social life, getting out, meeting people. But he's been relying on online things to start meeting people locally. And he encountered a gal that he thought initially was perhaps promising, someone to talk to, but realized of all the BS that goes on that is out there. So let me go over here real quick, just reminding you guys what everybody deals with in today's world. So the first guy, the 63-year-old, says, "Dear SSM, I'm a subscriber and I watch your channels regularly. I'm really glad that you're helping some of the younger guys out there navigate the craziness of modern relationships. So I have one here that happened to me recently that is probably very common, but should be shared nonetheless. At least I had not heard of this on your channel and thought it'd be a good way to spread the word. Well, we're always up for new things to share over here, so I'm glad you wrote in. I'm a 63-year-old widower with 2 kids in college. So you had the kids later in life. I'm newer to my area and have nice neighbors, but no close friends or family nearby. After retiring recently, my wife passed away suddenly several months ago. But those details are not relevant right here. Well, sir, I'm sorry for your loss. Obviously, you had a good marriage. It's important, however, to understand that I was very limited in most social activities that couples would normally enjoy due to her illness. That's because you were a loyal husband and you were by her side and taking care of her. After a few months, I started looking for group activities and meeting new friends aged 50 and up, using a popular social media app. I was looking for some group activities to join, like comedy clubs, live theater, clubs, music, etc. I attended some chat sessions from the app via Zoom, and that's all it took for this warning to start. Well, I'm glad you're putting yourself out there, but then again, at the end of the day, you got to do things in person. I'm sure there's things you can do locally, and I'm sure after this experience, you'll try to do things more locally with people in person. She was a younger Asian woman, 35 as she says, who claims she just wanted to be friends and have someone to chat with. And by the way, I guarantee you she's not 35 years old. Asian women can really, if they take care of themselves, they can be 50 and look like they're 35. And how nice that she wants to chat with a 63-year-old. I'm sure you're a good guy and charming and handsome and all that, but we all are, I'm sure everybody here is thinking what I'm thinking you were thinking here. Cha-ching. She had moved to New York a year ago and had no close family here other than her aunt, and her parents and sister lived in Singapore. Once I saw a real-time picture of her at the gym, I realized she was very attractive and vibrant. A first red flag asking myself the obvious question, or why she wants anything to do with me. I pride myself in my health and financial stability and attractiveness, as I'm told, and a good father, but I'm no fool. So you could see through this, but frankly, you're lonely. You've been lonely. You had a major life change. You lost your wife. Fair enough. Here's the thing, and I'm not quite sure the answer is this. Were you actually talking to her via Zoom so you could see who it was, or were you just communicating through this app and you only saw pictures she sent to you? Because it's possible, if you weren't talking to her live, video and all that, it could have been just a catfish deal. Somebody pretending to be somebody else. Well, I live in the same state as you do, and she claims to be from New York City. So chatting was our only form of communication. After only a few days, she started asking me if I knew anything about options trading, the second red flag. She sent me screenshots of recent trades and made lots of money in minutes. This is a scam. She tries to convince me that I could do the same. She claimed her aunt worked for the famous Wall Street firm and had teams of analysts that she used to guide her trading. Yeah, sure. So, I'm going to stop right there. Every day, through X and Instagram, I get people that send me messages claiming to be women, claiming to be pretty women, and some will babble on about the trading things, or some try to chat me up. And when I first went on X, I had these women writing into me, and I'm like, okay, I'll play along. And sure enough, you go to their profile on X, and they have a bunch of followers, and of course they're beautiful, right? Of course. And there's all this stuff talking about Tesla stock and Nvidia and all that. And then I was playing along with this for fun, and eventually they started talking about pretty much the same fucking thing. So it's all a scam. So that's what happened to you. But hey, guys need to know. You're new to all this. You haven't been in this world, obviously, forever, so now you're learning about this. It says, okay, by now I can see where things are going. When I refused to jump into her high-risk trading practices, she pulled out all the stops and started making romantic gestures. I was laughing at myself, but also mindful of how ridiculous I've been for letting this continue. Hey, you learned something, and you got a funny story to tell your college kids. It only lasted a week or so, but I enjoyed the chats, and that's what I really desired. I shut down the chat, told her what she was, and blocked her. No worries, no sensitive personal information was shared. Hey, you learned something. And that's what she does. And she's going to find women like that. And even that was a woman. Like I told you, I had them sending me messages on X, and I played along because I had to know. I was doing this for fun and research. And the second they started babbling on about the trading things, like, yep. Goodbye, bitch. And after a couple of those, anytime I get those things, I just delete. Let this be a warning to all the men out there who are looking to meet up with new friends and meet new people. Even at my age, there are no still no rules and no holds barred. I know that at some point I might be ready to try and find a life companion, but meeting someone organically that's real and on any level may take time. Well, better you do that than this kind of crap online. But again, it sounds like this was something that was open to like anywhere in the world, as opposed to like something local wherever you are in Florida. For now, I'll continue to enjoy my kids and my life, embracing all the adventures heading our way. I still hope to find a good group to join in adventures, solo tours, etc., but local group activities are hard to find in that area. SSM, see you at all those famous amusement parks. He's a fellow Floridian. Well, sir, thanks for sending that in. Again, this is new to you. This happens. I'm sure lots of guys watching this that have some social media get these fraudulent things. Don't take it personally. It's just, there's scumbags out there, And if you didn't know any better, I know you're kind of lonely, and that's understandable. You lost your wife and everything. But you'll get back on track. But, hey, you learned something. You can share this with your kids. They'll all get a good laugh. But I would just see what's going on locally where you live, and put yourself out there to talk to people and all that. And, obviously you're looking for, as you described, a life companion. Okay, no problem. Certainly you don't need to get married or anything like that, but just somebody probably to go see shows with and hang good restaurants with good company. Fair enough. Well, you watch this channel and you can freshen up your skills, if you will, to help yourself out, And again, a chick in their 30s, you have to watch out. But you're 63. But if you met a woman at 63 years old, you met a woman who's 53, okay, that's a different ballgame than someone 35. And whoever you meet, a woman, obviously, make sure, that if she has kids, they are adult children out of the house. And make sure she has her own money and takes care of herself and has a good attitude, and do your screening process. And there you go. But I would just start talking to people, maybe your neighbors, and maybe getting together for inviting some of the neighbors over for a barbecue or something like that, and getting to know people. And then you get to know people through people, and there you go. As long as you're in no rush and not desperate, then you won't make the mistake of inviting people into your life because you just need some companionship. You need a social life, Take it slow, be relaxed, have a good time, and it's going to work out. And enjoy Florida, because I'm certainly enjoying it. Although it is almost July now, it's getting pretty hot, but I'm definitely acclimating to the weather. I'm not melting in the car like I used to. So, okay, guys, on to the main story about the divorce and the guy who marries the harpy but comes out on top. He says, "Hi, SSM. Here is my divorce story. The genesis, the meeting of her. It was the turn of January 2015. I met her on Plenty of Fish on a Saturday night. Uh, says here we had met at the mall for the first meeting. She had she had put up the great front before the marriage. Then we had talked about our exes and our dating lives. Apparently, according to her, she was in a abusive marriage for 10 years before she met me. Aren't they all in horrible relationships before when you all start meeting guys? Isn't that amazing? She was divorced 3 years prior to us meeting. No, prior to us married. I used the app Plenty of Fish a few times since 2012, all successful matches, until this one. I haven't used that dating site since then. From February 2015 until the day of our marriage flew by, which took place on September 18th of that year. Then I met her mother, which I nicknamed her the bitch-in-law. You met her, I guess, in January 2015. Oh, no, in February 2015. And you were married on September 18th, 2015. Smack! What the hell was the matter with younger you? What was the rush? She must have had the best body ever, the best in bed, the greatest personality ever to ever rush into something like that. No, obviously that was not the case. And now you said the mother became the bitch-in-law? This is why you spent a long time getting to know your girl. And if her mom, anybody else in her family, are a bunch of a-holes, you don't marry them because that's going to become your family. But this guy has to learn, and let me tell you guys, you're going to hear this, he learns. He says her mother will come into the story later. I never had know a woman who was so miserable in her entire life. Her mother was a widow, and I saw that man chose death than deal with her. And a month before the wedding, we met her pastor for marriage counseling. The pastor told me to think long and hard and deep before marriage. Well, you know it's something when obviously the pastor's telling you that. I mean, any good pastor would tell somebody that, but I think he probably knew something about this chick that you're marrying. And then here comes September 19, 2015, the wedding day. Everything was lovely that day until it all went south. Year 1. He breaks this down to year 1, year 2, year 3, and then freedom. Year 1. The marriage takes place. We went to North Carolina to the casino for our honeymoon. Then we came back home. And she was like an overgrown toddler. Then she wanted to argue with me in front of my place of employment. I paid her no attention and went into the building. So immediately, drama. You knew her like not even 9 months and you married her, and here you go. Dude, that was so unbelievably stupid. You got what you deserved. But immediately, the drama starts. But remember, under a year, typically you can get an annulment if I'm not mistaken. Well, at work, I met a friend at work and we were friends until this year. I used to take her home at night when we got off. My wife used to get jealous, have jealous fits, thinking I was cheating on her, but actually she was the one cheating the entire marriage, which I found out later on. Well, if you're married, you shouldn't be taking women home at night and stuff like that. So your wife at the time was an a-hole, but I can't blame her for that one there, because would you want her taking some dude home at night? You know? We had our house split with me and my sister, which she caught all the red flags that I missed. And my wife would get very jealous over her own dog. And I also have a dog as well. Then she was so unbearable. My sister moved out of the house and got her own place. Then I lost my place and we got a place 35 miles south of the original location. How'd you lose your place? And that's when the real shit show began. In February 2016, we went to Disney World for vacation. You're taking this harpy to the happiest place on earth? Thanks. I'm sure all the people there that really appreciated that. Rule number 1, never tell the woman about your assets. She will count your pockets, then her own. We had fun until the end of February, and on that day I was this close to going to jail in Florida. If it wasn't for the fact that her friends weren't there, I would have went to jail in Florida. Oh, what happened? Then the long drive back home to Atlanta. 75 was hell driving back home. She was hitting herself and playing psycho. She was hitting herself? Why the hell I stuck around 3 more years, I will never know. Then we moved to our new home. My name was denied due to the rental history. The wife had to get the apartment, which the mother had plotted to have me pay the entire rent. The apartment was nice, and we got the furniture for the place. Good Lord, man. Another situation, she had quit working at her job. The main purpose, we moved down there, which left me with taking care of the majority of the bills. Dude, you should never have allowed that. And oh yeah, smacked. Maybe I missed them on some smacks here. I'm a little rusty today. But still, you're moving, and she's not contributing to the rent, and she's no longer working. Obviously, she doesn't respect you. Obviously, she's weak. And you know what? That's going to happen when a gal has a guy marry her in 9 months of knowing her and immediately putting up with all her crap, you know? And you had all the red flags in the beginning about her background. Why is it did you rush into a marriage? Were you just desperate to get any girl to pay attention to you? That usually happens to a lot of guys. This is why I encourage guys to become the best they can be and work on themselves, and that way they have a good, healthy self-esteem, that they don't have people in this life take advantage of them, thinking that's all they're worth, all they can get. Don't worry, guys. I know you're frustrated, but our guy learns. After I left the job to get my 401k to pay the bills. Hold on, did you just say you drained your 401k to pay the bills? Smack, that's insane. Yes, you can take loans against your 401k, but if you're literally selling early, then there's the tax issues. Then I was doing Uber after leaving work. Then I got into an accident with a car running a red light where I had a green arrow. I was doing Uber that Friday night, and after that, the insurance company denied my claim to drive for hire. And here comes the bullshit from the daughter and the mother. No money coming in the house, and wife did not want to work. It was pure hell. Well, if you were a man and you respected yourself and she respected you, she would have gotten a job, but she didn't. And is the mother living with you? I'm a little confused here. If she is your even bigger jackass for allowing that. Meanwhile, she was changing jobs like she was changing her drawers. She could not hold down a job. She was too scared to do Uber. She would go back and tell her mother everything, even lies. And here comes the 1-year anniversary of us. I was miserable in that marriage, and my birthday was coming up. She was trying to set up a birthday party, but the people she was trying to invite were people I don't talk to. And she was also trying to divide and conquer me to all my family and friends. Dude, you're with a fucking narcissist. She's evil. Preying upon weak men, and she was right. And you were. I don't know how you are now. I'm assuming you've learned, but still. At this point, anybody with half a brain would have gotten a divorce, at least an annulment under the year mark. Because we all know divorce is inevitable. Why you subject yourself to this shit, I will never know. Then I did some research about her personality. Then it gave me all the explanations of her weird behavior. Narcissistic personality disorder. There you go. Finally, the light bulb went off my head, and I finally figured out what she and her mother were all about. Well, wonderful. I'm glad you did your Google search. Now you should be divorcing the bitch. But no, 2 more fucking years of this shit. Now we're on to the 2nd year of marriage. I started a new job and things were looking up. I set up a new 401k and moved in silence. Remember, narcissistic people use what you say against you. So in addition, opening my credit union account at my new job, I got a get the F out of here fund. And unless you're experienced in NPD, a person will think you're talking a foreign language. She wanted to put her mother in our business. I used to cuss that B out every chance I see her. Then in June of 2018, I was rushed to the hospital from a stroke. Gee, I wonder why you had a stroke. Who could imagine why? Your life is chaos. That was my wake-up call to get out of the marriage. Really? That was your wake-up call? My friend at the time invited me to the Braves game to get me back on track. The wife wanted to spend all the money while her mother guarded hers. On Thanksgiving Day, she wanted to triangulate her mother in our conversation, and her mother and I had a huge cussing match outside the grocery store on Thanksgiving Day. Then I was working on my exit strategy. Dude, I don't feel bad for you. And I'm sure you understand that. And nobody else did. Past you. 2018 you. I'm assuming you got your shit together and learned. And obviously ditched the bitch. But still, what the fuck was the matter with you marrying her so quickly and staying with her all this crap? Really? 3rd year. This year was the worst of our marriage. Well, shocker. Her original dog had died in late November, and she got a new dog. She didn't have enough time to mourn her old dog, and that B took the beagle with her. And then I discovered that she was cheating on me with a pedo. Whoa! Well, number one, I'm not all surprised she's been cheating on you this whole time. Shocker, but with a pedo. I'm speaking in code, or I'm breaking off the word. I want to say the full thing because YouTube will probably flag me. And it was funny how I found out. I was at work one day and I got a mysterious text that stated the whole thing. And where I worked at the time, I could pull up any car account. Do you work at the DMV or do you work in a bank or I don't know. When I pulled up the information, I discovered he was from Pennsylvania. The Social Security number gave it away, and his birthday was the day before hers. He was just 7 years older than her, and I called it. Surviving R. Kelly, blah, 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 blah. This was the final nail in the coffin that set me up for divorce. I left on what was supposed to be our 4th anniversary. Hallelujah, you're out of there. See, guys, we all make mistakes, but doesn't mean you got to stick around in them forever. My 4th and final year. My friend said, finally you came to your senses. Now you're finally going to ditch the bitch. It was an easy process. First, I had to work on the filing fee and the judge. I had a female judge, and I had my bias because divorce doesn't favor men. The now ex-wife didn't want to come to the proceedings because she wasn't getting anything. She had the nerve to fix her mouth and say that she wanted alimony. Of course. She didn't get any since she wasn't getting anything. And she was a no-show to court. That was the most expensive lesson I ever learned, and don't get married. Okay, so because she didn't show up and it had only been a few years, she got nothing. No alimony, nothing. You probably didn't have anything to your name, so good. That's great, dude. And thank God you ended with her. But my God, man, why would you ever put yourself in this situation, let alone get out early? But see, gentlemen, guys have to sadly learn the hard way. This is why I share these stories, so maybe guys can listen to these stories and learn from others' mistakes. He says, here's some lessons I learned from the divorce. Okay, listen up, guys. He learned the hard way, so we'll give him a moment to share what he's learned. Number 1, don't get married. There's a big fucking surprise. Well, how about this? If you do get married, spend more than 9 months knowing the chick and her family and how she is with money and how she is in real life situations and all that. 2, check her mental state. Well, a good one can fake it for a long time, hence being with her for a long time, and see what she was like in various situations. 3, don't rush to get married. There's a no-brainer. 4, check out her family. They can always get in the way of your happiness. Again, a no-brainer. The problem is when guys get together with a girl they're really attracted to, or they think she's as good as it's going to get, they'll just ignore the family. They're going to influence her. Number 5, trust but verify. Never go upon her word. Nope. 6, she was the biggest liar and bullshitter I've ever known. Well, that's not a lesson to get married, but yes, she was. 7, go out of town with them and see what they're really like. Okay. You know what, guys? You really want to see what your girl's like? Move some furniture with her. I'm serious. Get a couch and move it upstairs, where you got to go upstairs and go around a corner and stuff like that. And maybe like the legs of the furniture is a little too big, so you got to unscrew it and take it off. Then you'll see who your girl is. I have seen fights when I've helped people move like you wouldn't believe over moving furniture. Ho, ho, ho. And I'm sure some of you have seen this. And number 8, once the divorce is finalized, never look back. Amen. You never look back. And I bet you she probably reached out to you, and you probably were like, F you. So anyhow, guys, there you go. Nothing groundbreaking here, but just another example of a guy who was a dumbass when he was younger, and you know you were, sir. I'm glad you admit it. He in parentheses, had smacks all over this story, but I wasn't going to read it because he knew I was going to do it anyway. But at least in the end, you got rid of her, and you weren't harmed too much. But that was 3 miserable years of your life. I'm sure that took away years of your life and money you could have saved. You could have actually met someone that was half decent in that time period, but you experienced it, and I'm sure you told people. Hopefully that story has helped others learn what not to do. And I'm assuming you're single, not married anymore after this whole fiasco. So hey guys, there you go. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And guys, you got a story to share, send it my way. strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. And if it's a good one, I'll definitely cover it. And be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.